Yo, hello guys, my name's MightyMax, welcome back to a brand new video. Today on the YouTube channel of the MightyMax, we're going to be making this shield. The Shield Hero's shield, that is correct. If you like the Shield Hero anime, by the way, just comment down below what you'd rate it out of 10. I'm just curious, I just would like to know, because I rate it pretty highly. I'd say around a 7. And if you guess 7, you gotta give this video a like. Okay, cool. Anyway, so, here we have the shield. We're going to be making this today. This is the final product of what it's going to look like. It's pretty dope. We got the angular pieces going on here, you know what I'm saying? This is looking pretty nice. We got the inward sort of piece. It goes inwards, where the light is what I'm trying to say. And it's just like the anime, so it's perfect. This is literally the perfect shield. Now, the back, we have an amazing strap. It's a strap, and honestly, these don't do anything. These little pieces, these are simply just here for decoration. But the actual strap itself, on one side, has a Velcro piece, which you unstrap and then strap back on to put over your arm. It's amazing, I know. And then also, just to kind of cover it up and make it not look too obvious, our battery pack. Which you will need for this video. You're going to need like a pack of LEDs. So I've got green LEDs from Poundland of some sort, I think. I think I have them for Christmas or something, I'm not too sure. But you're going to need like a pack of LEDs with, you know, possibly like with a battery pack, or they could even be solar powered, who the hell knows. But you're going to need something like this, so pick up a cheap battery pack of green LEDs somewhere. And yeah, so this piece just covers up the battery pack a little bit, but also makes it so that there's pressure on the battery pack and you can slide this in and out whenever you need to change the batteries, so that's really useful. Alright guys, so if you want to get the templates, they're in the description. You already know. I'm hoping that you have them in front of you now. Let's make this shield. Okay, so first in the video, I actually made this out of cards. This is just to make sure that everything fits together properly and, you know, that it's all good. Because you don't want to make it out of foam and then realise that something doesn't fit together, because you'll pretty much be screwed. So, as you can see, this all fits together nicely. And the only way that this will fit together nicely is if you make it out of card first. Okay, so put your template together out of card, make sure that it fits, make sure that you're happy with it. If you think that something's wrong, or you think that you could trim edges of something, for instance, the bottom here, I thought was too long when I made mine personally, so I actually ended up trimming the edges of the template when I made it out of card, which is pretty awesome. Once you made it out of card and you're happy with it and it all looks good, then you can take those card pieces and stick them on your foam and cut those out of foam. But make sure that when you cut them out of foam, that you bevel the edges inwards at about a 45-degree angle. You don't want to accidentally bevel it too much, and you don't want to bevel it too little, because the angles will be different on either side if you don't make the bevels the same. So you have to make sure that the bevels are perfect. So, one of the ways that I made my bevels perfect was I actually got my Dremel and I just dremeled down the edges of the foam here in the video. And as you can see, it just helped to make everything stick together a bit better. Otherwise, you really have to force the foam around and it's not nice. Okay, so now you can heat seal your foam, and what this does is it seals the foam, it makes it more dense on the top layer. When you heat seal all of your pieces, you need to make sure that you kind of like shape them as well. As you're heating them up, you want to make sure that you bend them into shape so that they fit together better when you glue them. Then you don't have to do as much of a, you know, a tug and a pull and push and all that stuff. You pretty much could just glue it together and it's done. Okay, so here is the fun part. Here we are gluing together all of the pieces, and it's a lot of fun. I will say I definitely could have made my bevels better. This is why I'm telling you now to make yours as good as you can, because if you don't, they're not going to glue together very well, and it's going to be a bigger job than it needs to be. So yeah, make sure that you bevel those edges properly, guys. Jesus, it took me a little while longer than I thought to glue all these together. And by the way, I did use super glue. You could use barge, which is like a contact cement, but the reason I didn't use that is because I didn't want to wait like 5 minutes in between each piece to... Oh, that would have taken ages. You could do that, but also I didn't want to stink out my house, and it's toxic, so you need to wear a mask, and it was just so much extra stuff. I was like, okay, I'm just going to use super glue and then use the glue hardener. I don't know what it's called, but it hardens the glue. It sets it quicker, okay? That stuff. So, I didn't really show this part in the video, so I want to make this clear now. What I did here is to cut out this sort of black part. You may be able to tell in the video that this isn't masked onto the actual shield. This is actually a template that I cut out. So, on your templates that you should have had in your hands this entire time, you should notice that the black part on the shield is actually something you can cut out. So if you cut out that black part on the shield, then you should have this template. Now, I cut out that template again on card because I didn't have any black foam or anything else left to use, but I would suggest trying to use black foam. If that doesn't work for you, then just use card and cover it in Plasti Dip, okay? Black Plasti Dip will work perfectly because, as you can see, like, it's basically what it does is it coats the card in a rubber coating and it makes it not look like card anymore. So I think it's pretty good. I did get a couple of wrinkles in mine, I noticed, but I think that's to do with the bevel on the inside of the shield and where this like piece meets up. I think it might be slightly different to the template in my case, but I've adjusted it so that you guys don't have this issue. But yeah, so you guys want to cut out this black piece on your template. It should be up here on the screen somewhere at the same time. Just cut out the black outline that you have on your template and cut it out of either foam or card and then coat it in Plasti Dip. Okay, so once you have your shield together, I have this really, really interesting method for the inner bevel in the middle of the shield. Let's do it. This is also pretty amazing if you don't have a Dremel or a really, really sharp box cutter. So what I did was I put a disc on the back of the shield, as you can see. This disc was whole to begin with, and I then super glued it to the back. As you can see, it doesn't come off or anything. It's stuck on there. And then what I did is, in the video you can see, I heat up the center of the shield from the back. What happens is the foam heats up and it becomes like loosey-goosey. You can then shove a pencil or something pointy that's not going to melt or burn, and you want to point that or push that through the foam. And whilst it's heated up, it should just sort of create this bevel, which worked really well for me. I'm sure it's going to work well for you guys too. It's so good. It makes it so smooth. Look at that. It's so good. So yeah. That's what I do in the video, and keep watching. Oh, I should also mention that the back disc here is actually the same size, if not slightly bigger, than this outer piece. So you need to cut out this little trim before you cut out this disc, otherwise you're not going to know the size. Okay guys, another thing I should mention is that you should leave some kind of weight or something in the center of your shield as it cools down, just so that it doesn't bend back up and go flat again. Now what you want to do is, you've probably got a hole in the center of your foam, and that's totally fine. What you want to do is just trim that circle up a little bit until it fits the green thing that you have. I have a Christmas bauble. I'm just going to put it out there. I have a Christmas bauble, but you could find some kind of plastic ball or something, and you could make this out of tape if you needed to. Christ. It's supposed to be like an emerald that lights up green, so you can get away with like extra pieces, or if it's, you know, not perfect, you can get away with that. It's totally fine. As you can see, like, mine does actually have some weird shapes in there as well. That's just for the emerald look, which I think I got pretty well. So yeah, I used the Christmas bauble for mine, but I suggest that you guys use something ball shaped, that's roughly the same size. It doesn't have to be perfect, but, you know, use something similar. Okay, now that you've slotted that thing in there and you know it fits, take it all back out, make sure that there's nothing on the front of the shield, make sure that your trim that you cut earlier, make sure that this is not stuck to your shield at this point in time. What you want to do is you now want to spray your shield with primer and then chrome spray paint. I did like 2 to 3 layers of primer, and then I did, that should be Plasti Dip. Do a couple of layers of Plasti Dip, maybe a layer of primer, and then like maybe 2 coats of chrome. It depends on like what you want, because what I noticed is that if you coat it in primer first and then do a light dusting of chrome, I think it gives off a better metallic look than mine does. So as you can see, like, it's not that blotchy, but there is a couple of blotches in there, and I purposely left those because I thought it might look a bit more, might make it look a bit more weathered, and it kind of does. It kind of does. I think it seals the deal, you know? I think it looks pretty good. So yeah, you can do whatever you want, but just grab some random like chrome spray paint. I don't know what mine is. I bought it from Aldi, but that was when they had spray paint. They don't have it there anymore, I've checked. So random chrome spray paint, any brand, doesn't matter, and just spray your shield. Once you've sprayed the whole thing and you're happy with it, and it's never going to be touched again, I have to make sure that you know that. You never need to touch this again. Then you can stick on the trim. Now the trim is going to be a little bit difficult to put on, but you need to make sure that it lines up with the edges perfectly, okay? Don't let it go over the edges, and don't let it go, like, you know, not up to the edges either, because that is going to affect where this goes. I would almost say glue this in the center first, or glue like a couple of points like this. Glue these couple of points first, and then glue the center, and then glue the rest afterwards, so make sure that it's all flat and it sticks properly. So, now that you've got your trim stuck on there, this is pretty much the last final steps. I ended up getting the bauble thing, making sure that that fitted in there and it didn't crack the paint, and it was totally fine. Then I cut a little groove into the back of the shield, which allows my arm to fit in there, and then I made a couple of straps. These straps are made out of just normal brown craft foam, and I got a couple of pins, and I cut off I snipped off the end of the pins as well, just so that they're harmless. I don't want them to stab through the foam or into my arm or anything, so yeah. And then I did make a little cover. It's totally optional. I made a small little black cover, which just sits on top of the wires of the LEDs, just so that they're not too messy. And, you know, it's like if you have a bad haircut, you kind of, it takes a long time to deal with it every day. So it's the same here. If that is a mess, it's going to be a little bit difficult to deal with. So yeah, clean up those wires if you want to, and yeah, just follow along with the video now, I suppose. Alright guys, so that is going to do it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Absolutely smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. Comment down below your top 5 favourite animes of this season, and also rate this on like a, I don't know, a 1 to 10 scale. Maybe even a 0 to 10 scale if you're really that horrible. So rate this out of 10, maybe rate your own shields out of 10 if you make it for yourselves. I'd love to know how yours go, because mine went pretty awesome. And it's the first time I've ever made a shield, so yeah. Guys, that's going to be it for this video. Really hope you enjoyed. Absolutely smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay mighty, subscribe to my Patreon and all that. Kabam! One, two,